Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy, Elvius Void, coming in with part 2 to What If Naruto Was Kokushibo's Reincarnation. Where we left off last episode, Naruto had went off to the Land of Iron to continue his training after passing the Genin exams when he was at the age of 10, with him completing his 3-year time skip. From there, after learning many new skills with his swordsmanship, he went back to the village to go into a proper Genin team with the current graduates of that year. So before we actually get fully into this, I'd like to ask everyone to hit that like button and subscribe button if you really do enjoy the video so far, and there's also some other things I'll have to tell as well. For the current what ifs that I'm doing, I'll be continuing with this one I'm doing right now, what if Naruto was Kokushibo, as well as what if Deku was the reincarnation of Akaza. And as a lot of people aren't really watching the ending of what if Naruto was Michiro, I'll be doing what if Naruto was the reincarnation of Gyuyu, I'm pretty sure that's how you say it, the Stone Hashira, which I'll be doing in 2 days from now, because I'm just getting ready for going back to school and whatnot. So yeah, let's just get right into this. We start off this what if with Naruto returning to the village. With Naruto returning to the village, he would walk up to the Konoha gates, where he'll be meted by the two Chunin that are usually at the guarding the gate. With Naruto handing them his passport to get into the village, he would walk in and walk throughout the village, with a lot of the citizens there recognizing the boy from his, distinct eyes that he usually, his distinct eyes that he has, as well as his unique purple and black kimono, as well as, his sword that is strapped to his waist. With Naruto walking around the village, he wouldn't mind all the people watching him, as he doesn't really care for all these people, as he does think that everyone here is pretty much insects compared to him in general of his skills, and if he wanted to, he'd definitely tear down this village in an instant. With Naruto not wanting to do this at all, as he still does have his kind heart, he just doesn't mind all the hatred and the stares that he gets from the villagers, unlike the original Naruto. With Naruto walking to the Hokage Tower, he'd greet the receptionist there, with the receptionist not looking up from a computer and asking if he's got an appointment, with Naruto replying saying that he does not have an appointment, but the Hokage will definitely want to have a meeting with him as he's just returned to the village. With the receptionist now looking up, she would see Naruto and instantly remember the boy as the demon container of the Nine Tails. With her not really wanting to go, Naruto would look at her, releasing some of his bloodlust, which would alert some of the Anbu that are watching, with them coming down and asking him what he's doing here. With Naruto now looking at the Anbu as well as the receptionist, he would tell her that he wants to go meet the Hokage, as the Hokage should be expecting him in the next couple of days, but he returned earlier than he really wanted to, as the Land of Iron chief, that being Mifune, had said to Naruto that his training is pretty much complete and then he can return to the village now. With the Anbu as telling the receptionist that it's probably true, as the Hokage does have a relationship with the boy, she would sign in the boy to the Hokage office, and Naruto would walk in, knocking in the door and being let in. With Naruto seeing the Hokage would instantly greet him with a smile, asking the boy how he is, with Naruto again giving a warm smile back to the Hokage, telling his Gigi that, he had a fun time training and becoming a better genin for the village. With the Hokage, and Naruto reuniting and telling different stories of what's happening, and Naruto telling him how strong he's gotten, the Hokage would instruct Naruto that because he doesn't have a lot of experience in the ninja arts, he'll be assigning him to a genin team that'll be that had just graduated, and that being, the original Konoha 12. With that being said, Naruto would not want to do this, as he believes that everyone in the genins in general are definitely not as strong as him, and even most Chunins aren't any trouble to him, and as well as a lot of Jonins, as Naruto's skills and his absolute prodigy in all his jutsu and kenjutsu and all this stuff We'll get into more of that later, but he believes that everybody's kind of a waste of time, and that he should be put in a team that's, worth his skills and knowledge. With that being said, he's not going to argue with the third Hokage, as he does kind of agree that he needs more experience in the ninja arts and to help in team bonding and team learning on how to react and act in certain missions. With that being said, the Hokage would tell Naruto that the team's already been set and that he just needs to go down to the academy to get put into their assigned teams, with Naruto asking the Hokage if he's already written down which team he's going to be in, with the Hokage saying he has, but he's not going to tell Naruto right now, as he'll just meet up with the people back at the academy to figure out which team he's going to be in. With that now being said, Naruto would leave the Hokage office, walking out into the corridor, glaring at the receptionist before pulling the finger at her and walking out, with the receptionist with a wide gasp on her face, freaking out, as she's, a lot of people don't like Naruto, and he doesn't like them back. With that being said, now Naruto would start to walk throughout the village, heading towards the academy, as he wants to get into his team right away and to continue on these missions, as he is a proper genin at this point. As he's walking throughout the village, he would continue to see all the glares and hatred towards Naruto, and because Naruto is a demon with his demonic body, he can feel the intent of everybody that is staring at him, that being anger, fear, and all that type of negative emotions that are just targeting Naruto in general. With Naruto kind of understanding their fear, as throughout the years of training with Mifune in the Land of Iron, he would realize that the seal on his stomach is something that's not supposed to be there, and he would notice that, and after reading a whole bunch of scrolls in the Land of Iron, he would realize that this is a Jinchuriki seal, the 8 trigram seal to be exact, and would realize that the 4th Hokage, on the day of his birth, had probably placed the 9 tails in him, as he also learnt that the tailed beasts cannot be killed, but can only be sealed in hosts, or I think that one jar, and those people become sacrifices to the demon, which are called Jinchuriki. With Naruto now realizing that he's in Jinchuriki, he would realize and understand the hatred that's being targeted against him from the village, but because he is he's a proud type of person, he would still again not like the villagers in general, as they need to get over their fears and realize that the demon fox isn't going to escape from his body, as it is tightly sealed in the 8 trigram seal by the 4th Hokage. With Naruto still wandering around the village, he would meet up at the academy, where he'll walk in, sliding the door open and greeting the teacher, and that being Iruka and Mitsuki. With Iruka seeing Naruto would hand him the letter in which he got from the Hokage, explaining the situation that's happening, and that Naruto will be put into a genin team, as he had graduated 3 years ago, but went on a training trip to the Land of Iron. With Iruka noticing Naruto and still having a type of bond, like a big brother and younger brother type of bond with Naruto, as he does relate to Naruto on a kind of sense, as they're both orphans from the Nine Tails attack, and one put with a massive burden of being the Jinchuriki. He would understand Naruto's pain in a sense. With Naruto then being told to sit down in a open seat, he would sit down next to a shy girl, that being Hinata, in which Naruto would see that Hinata's emotions are that of a shy princess of the village, but he would also note that she is not being pushed to her potential as a ninja, as she is incredibly strong, for her age compared to everybody else or every other female in the class, because Sakura, Ino, they're pretty much the exact same in Naruto's strength, and they don't really get any stronger during this entire first part of Naruto. That Hinata, completely outclasses them in terms of taijutsu and all that, as well as having a very strong Kekkei Genkai, that being the Byakugan. With Naruto noticing this, he would be a little annoyed that this girl isn't pushing herself to fully capitalize on her immense potential to become much stronger than a lot of Jonin, and could possibly be a Chunin for her own age, as he can see all the potential that lies deep inside of her. With Naruto continuing to walk, he would also see Sasuke, who he remembered from his days in the academy, and who would always send hateful glares towards him. With Sasuke as well, now noticing Naruto, his hate for him would start to multiply again, seeing him again, as he thought that he got rid of the Dobi and the loser of the village, someone that is a pharaoh compared to everyone else in the village. With Naruto also noting this, he would think to himself that if push comes to shove and he's put on a team with Sasuke, he's going to complain to the third Hokage, and if he can't get out of it, he'll most likely fake his death, well, not his death, but Sasuke's death in one of the missions that they are given. With Naruto going and sitting down at the back, the team orientation, the team placement would be starting, with all the Genin being placed in their original team. Naruto would be placed in the Team 7, as that is the team with the first place, the strongest Konoichi and strongest male in the class, as well as the last placing. And because Naruto did not have any grades during the last 3 years of the academy, he'd be placed in last place in general, as the test scores would all multiply on top of that. With Naruto getting extremely angry as he's placed with a terrible Konoichi who is very weak and could probably snap her with the flick of with his finger, and as well as the arrogant and overall annoying Sasuke from the very strong Uchiha clan, but they're 6 feet under, so there's not really much competition when it comes to that. With Naruto, having his team, he would wait for his sensei, who was Kakashi, and he had known a few things about Kakashi during his years, as he had read the bingo book, and noticed that Kakashi was an A-ranked ninja, who is known as Kakashi of the Sharingan, or Kakashi of 1,000 Jutsus, as he has copied with his Sharingan a lot of jutsus throughout all his years as an Anbu, as well as, just a regular Jonin of the village. With that being said, Naruto would continue to wait in the building, starting to meditate after a few hours, as Kakashi was feeling from his presence was nowhere near, and decided to just meditate and continue to hone his skills of the mind and his will. With after 3 hours of waiting, Kakashi would appear in the building, opening the sliding door as a clone, and would tell the team that he's Kakashi, and to meet him up on the top of the building. He'll be waiting for them there, and exploding into a puff of smoke. Naruto would, before Kakashi even opened the door, would have known that Kakashi was a clone, and decided to leave a clone in his place as well, and Shunshin onto the rooftop, and where Kakashi's waiting, where he felt his chakra signature. With Kakashi noticing Naruto was there and being utterly surprised, as he had just gotten the information from the Shadow Clone that he had sent down there, that Naruto was there sitting down, his eyes closed, probably sleeping, that what he thought, but Naruto was just meditating on this. They would notice that Naruto, during all this time, looks incredibly strong and is very well fitted in his clothes, looking like a distinguished fella in the village. With Naruto seeing Kakashi, he would again sit down, cross his legs, and start to meditate, as it's going to be a few minutes until Sasuke and Sakura get to the top of the building. After a minute or two come by, Kakashi would, during the time, try to have a conversation with Naruto, but Naruto would just ignore him, being pretty annoyed that his sensei took so long to come to pick them up from the academy, and would instead just decide to ignore him. With Sasuke and Sakura coming into through the door, they would both run towards Kakashi, and Sasuke would see Naruto, and again be furious at the guy who was gone for so long, who basically left the village for a while, got there before him, someone that is an Uchiha elite. With them also sitting down, Sasuke glaring at Naruto, and Sakura not really glaring at Naruto, but looking lovingly at Sasuke, Naruto would choose to ignore them all, just thinking in how his time as a Genin will be really shitty. With that all now being done, Kakashi would, tell the team to tell them their names, likes, dislikes, and their goals and ambitions. With Sakura, who is a complete dunce, honestly, only book smart, would ask Kakashi to do a example in which Kakashi would just tell him his name, Kakashi, his likes, doesn't really matter, his dislikes, none of your business, and his goals and ambitions, again, none of your business. With everyone in the team, including Naruto, having a face drop on the outrageous statement that he just said, just basically just telling them his name, which they already knew from knowing who their Jonin sensei would be. Sakura would go first, with Sakura saying, "My name is Sakura Haruna. My likes are," she would look at Sasuke and start to giggle. Her dislikes, she would say Ino Pig, as they still have a competition to see who can get Sasuke to fall in love with him first. And her goals and ambitions, she would say to marry a certain someone, looking at Sasuke, and then proceed to pass out from blushing. With Sasuke then going next after, Kakashi told the emo to go. Sasuke would say his name is Sasuke Uchiha. He's an Uchiha elite. His likes are training and getting stronger. His dislikes, he doesn't really have any dislikes or proper any likes at all. And his goals and ambition is to kill a certain someone who wronged him in the past, in which Naruto as well as Kakashi would know that this is Itachi, as Naruto had looked through the bingo book and found Itachi's name, and had realized that Itachi was who had defected from the village, and that was because he killed the entire Uchiha clan, and he would kind of know why Sasuke is a ass for most of the series. With that being done, Kakashi would ask Naruto, who still has his eyes closed, not really paying attention to this, but he looks like he's not paying attention to this, and ask Naruto to go. Naruto would say that his name is Naruto Uzumaki. His likes are none of anybody's business. His dislikes, again, none of your business. His goals and ambitions, he would open his eyes, looking at the team, and again say, "It's none of your business." With that being said, Kakashi would be like, "Oh shit, is that like how I said it? Man, I sound like an asshole." And Naruto, wouldn't care about anything. With Kakashi said that they're not technically full Genin right now, except for Naruto, as he was already a full Genin, that they'll be having a test tomorrow to become full of official Genin of Team 7. With also telling them that to not eat any breakfast, as they will definitely puke if they eat any for the entire test the next day. With that being said, Kakashi would shunshin away, leaving a trail of leaves where he was, and Sakura would try to get Sasuke to go on a date with her, with him looking over her and loathing her entire existence. With Naruto also looking this, he would get ready to shunshin away, but Sasuke would grab him, telling him how he did that earlier, that the shunshin, with Naruto telling Sasuke to get his hand off him, or else he'll cut it off. With Sasuke realizing that this wasn't a threat but a promise, he would let go, grabbing his arm, as he got a flash of Naruto cutting his arm off from a bit of bloodlust that was emanating off Naruto. With that now being done, Naruto would shunshin away, going towards where his apartment is, which would be a much better apartment than where Naruto lived originally, as Naruto did not accept anything lower than his pre-existing star. What's it called? Just he doesn't want anything real shitty that he had in the original. With Naruto's personality kind of being different and not really being a dirty slob, and having his apartment filled with different ramen packages and stuff like that, his room would kind of look like a stereotypical Japanese or old Western Japanese house. I think that's kind of just what the Uchiha district type of place was. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. With Naruto going there, he would start to meditate again, as he's done a lot of training for the past couple of years, and is deciding to take a little bit of a break, deciding to continue his meditation, as he is already so strong compared to everyone else. With the next day rolling over, and Naruto, who didn't really sleep at all, as demons don't really need sleep, he would get ready to go out for the next day. But because of his prehistoric knowledge of what Kakashi does, him arriving at least 3 hours late, he wouldn't go to the training grounds straight away, but instead wait 3 hours, deciding to get a little training in before he leaves. And after that 3 hours that's passed, Naruto would go towards the training ground and see Sasuke and Sakura, who were waiting there, looking pretty hungry and annoyed that, neither Naruto or Kakashi are there. With Sakura seeing Naruto, she would start to berate him, asking him why he arrived so late, with Naruto telling her that, it doesn't matter if he's late or not, if the sensei isn't even there yet. With Naruto again sitting down underneath the tree in the shade, he starts to again meditate, as he doesn't really want to talk to anybody else on the team, and would slowly start to sense where Kakashi is, and notice that, he's starting to arrive where they are. And Naruto would get up, getting ready to meet with his sensei. With Kakashi now arriving, jumping out of a tree, he would greet the 3 genin, telling them that the test that they'll be having is the survival test. And it consists of him having 2 bells, and the 3 genin having to try and capture the bell from them. With Sakura, who points out that there's only 2 bells there, Kakashi would say that one of them will not pass the genin test and will be sent back to the academy, with Sasuke saying that one of the people have to be him, and Sakura saying to herself in her head that she has to get the bell from Kakashi, as Sasuke is definitely going to get the bell, and if she isn't with Sasuke, then there's no point to being a ninja at all. And in Naruto's mind, he just thinks that this is going to be easy, and there's no real point to doing any of this. With that being said, with Kakashi now starting the timer on the clock, everyone would jump away and hide in the bush, with Naruto completely erasing where his chakra signature is, which would surprise Kakashi. But Kakashi would start to, try sense to where Sasuke and Sakura is, and immediately find the chakra signature, as through chakra control exercises, they weren't really good with hiding their presence. But with Naruto, that really surprised Kakashi. He couldn't sense with even trying to find Naruto's presence, as being a demon as well as, training for a long time, Naruto is able to completely hide his presence, as well as, that being a perk of the Demon Slayer mark that Naruto has, is to completely hide their presence and their emotions and all. With Naruto, he's getting ready to attack, he would immediately lunge at Kakashi, who at this time had, not Kakashi, but Naruto had done a full circle around Kakashi, launching from Kakashi, where Kakashi's back is, and immediately release his sword and use the first form, Dark Moon, Evening Palace, and would quickly draw his sword out and swiftly use slicing a singular horizontal motion attack on Kakashi, in which several crescent moon shaped blades would start to form from Naruto's sword, and would start to cut into Kakashi, stabbing into his legs, arms, as well as his torso, which wouldn't go deep, as Naruto controlled them just to go deep enough to where it would stop Kakashi from completely moving all around. With Kakashi being incapacitated but still conscious, he would immediately go towards the bells and grab the 2, telling Kakashi that he's got the 2 bells and that he's ready to just go and become a official genin of the leaf, even though he already was a official genin of the leaf, as he did graduate 3 years before this, but because he wasn't in a team, he had to still do this test. With Kakashi, who was absolutely surprised at the one single attack that took him down, and by a genin, of all things, but would think to himself that this is probably because he's his sensei's son, and that he is definitely a prodigy above all other prodigies in the village, and that his strength and all is something to be amazed at. With Naruto grabbing the 2 bells, because he would tell Kakashi that he's passed the test and all that stuff, and Kakashi would have to congratulate Naruto, saying who's going to give the second bell to, with Naruto telling Kakashi that he already knows the trick that he's trying to pull, and that he's just going to give the 2 bells to the other 2, as even though they didn't do anything or perform any teamwork, he'll give the 2 bells to them, so it will count as a theoretical teamwork, as Naruto is giving them, the right to pass. But Kakashi also was given a strict order from the council, that being, mainly this the civilian and a lot of the other ninja parts of the council, to pass Sasuke into becoming a professional ninja. He would be forced to pass the Genin team, in which, now they would all pass. But Sasuke, as well as Sakura, would feel a little pissed off about this action, as Naruto had basically given them the title of Genin, and Sasuke didn't get to show any of his skills off at all, to impress his sensei, to teach him even more. With Naruto thinking that this day was a complete waste, and that he shouldn't even come to this place at all, and should have just gone to the Hokage to ask for a promotion, as this is just useless, and is not benefiting in his skills at all, and probably won't even give him experience, as he still knows that the Genin are usually given D-rank missions, which are usually just collecting groceries or mowing the lawn or something like that. With Naruto now leaving the area, telling Kakashi that he should probably go to the hospital, and he would leave, shunning away from where they are. With Kakashi, still bleeding, he would tell Sasuke and Sakura if they can help him up and take him to the hospital, as he's in a pretty bad condition at this point. With them agreeing, he would take them to the hospital, in which Kakashi would get treated, and Sasuke and Sakura would go their separate ways. But before, Sakura would ask again for Sasuke to go on a date with her, but again would be refused straight away. With that pretty much being done, Naruto would head off to the Hokage's tower, telling him of the extreme disappointment that his sensei has, and that he was able to best him only using one sword slash, in which the third Hokage would be absolutely, surprised of this entire situation, as he thought that, Naruto was strong, very strong, but didn't think that Naruto was strong enough to one-shot a Jonin, and that being one of the most powerful Jonin in the village at that time, but not being the powerfulest, as Maito guy who's still in the village with his absolutely beefy eyebrows. Anyway, with Naruto telling the third Hokage exactly what happened, the third Hokage would said that he was watching the test and would show Naruto his crystal ball, which honestly I believe that the thing wasn't utilized well enough in the full series, as he could literally peep on anybody in the village. With the third Hokage saying that he will talk to Kakashi and try to get him to become stronger and teach him different things, Naruto would thank the Hokage, tell him that he's going to go get some ramen, and if he would like to join him. With the third Hokage seeing all this paperwork, he would tell Naruto that he's too busy, with Naruto being a little, pissed off that the third Hokage's inability to continue doing his paperwork, with him telling the third Hokage that, he can just use a shadow clone to do all the work for him, and then he won't have to sit down at the desk all day doing this tedious paperwork. With the third Hokage having his mouth wide open, gasping at the information that he had just been given by a Genin, he would thank Naruto and perform the Kage Bunshin, and a few clones would appear in the office, and they would start to do paperwork, with the third Hokage saying that he can buy as much ramen as Naruto wants for this ingenious plan of Naruto's. With them going off and having a great dinner, and talking about a few things about the village, as well as their adventures, or Naruto's adventures, during that 3-year time skip again. I think that's where I'm going to leave this off, guys. This is a little shorter than my average videos, but I'm still planning towards doing all the other parts of the series. This will be also a kind of long series like what my other series are, that being, what if Naruto was the reincarnation of Michiro. But yeah, I'll try to make this way more interesting, and I'll kind of change the plot a lot about this. There'll be a few different plot points in this which will drastically change from what the original Naruto is, and that would have a massive impact on Naruto Shippuden. So yeah, if you guys like this, please hit that like button and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys later.